Many people say finance is cruel and unfair, but these statements are meant to scare those who want to get rich. In reality, having good money habits and following wealth rules can help anyone become a millionaire. A great example is Andrew Carnegie, one of the first to become the richest man in history. What were his principles and how can his experience help you become richer? Watch this video to find out. Welcome to the Main Finance channel. Your journey to wealth starts by clicking the subscribe button. Today, the name Carnegie is linked with Dale Carnegie and his famous How books. But 100 years ago, everyone knew Andrew Carnegie as one of the richest men ever. Dale changed the spelling of his name to match Andrew's, linking it with success. Andrew Carnegie made more money than John Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan. If we count his wealth by today's standards, Carnegie would be one of the richest men ever, behind only ancient emperors. Andrew Carnegie started life in poverty in Scotland, born in 1835. His family moved to the United States for a better life and settled near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. At 13, after only 5 grades of school, Andrew took a job in a spinning mill, earning $1.50 a week. Despite his humble beginnings, he became one of the wealthiest businessmen in history. I have summarized Carnegie's life into rules that helped him succeed in business. Now, I will share these rules with you. Build your career step by step from childhood. The next job young Andrew took was as a boiler stoker in a factory basement. This job was easier than working as a coiler, and he was paid more, $2. Soon, he was moved to work in the office because he had beautiful handwriting. Another teenager might have settled down after escaping the hard factory work, but not Andrew. He left the quiet office job to work as a street messenger. This job was in the telegraph office. The telegraph, which started being used in 1837, was the latest technology and opened up new opportunities. This job led him to become the personal telegrapher for Thomas Scott, the local branch manager of the Pennsylvania Railroad Company. For this job, he was paid $35 a month. He was only 18 years old, and within 5 years, he had increased his original salary 30 times. Just as importantly, he made friends with his supervisor, Thomas Scott, who later became his business partner. Don't save money, make it work for you. The average 18-year-old like Carnegie had 2 options: spend his paycheck on fun or save money. But Andrew chose a third option. He invested his money in stocks. Carnegie used the dividends from his previous stocks to buy new shares. For a kid from a poor family, this was very unusual. There were no how-to-get-rich courses at that time, and Andrew had only 5 grades of education. He borrowed a new book each week from the local library, but there were no business manuals yet. To buy stock in the Adams Express Railroad Company, Carnegie mortgaged his parents' house and borrowed money from his former colleagues. The railroad, like the telegraph, was a new invention back then, so Carnegie can rightly be called one of the first venture investors. His calculations paid off. In a year and a half, $50,000 invested in shares turned into $630,000. Carnegie continued buying shares of railroads, bridge building, and oil companies. He used the dividends from his previous stocks to buy new shares. It seems that he never followed the take it or leave it principle. When investing, look for new niches and combine risk and calculation. When buying shares of bridge building companies, Carnegie used careful planning and calculation. The U.S. was growing fast and needed infrastructure, so investing in bridges made sense. Carnegie saw this need and invested in companies that built bridges, knowing that they would be important for the country's development. On the other hand, searching for oil was a much riskier business at the time. Carnegie bought plots of land in remote and abandoned areas, guided only by local stories about where oil might be found. This was a big gamble because there was no guarantee that oil would be found on these plots. Sometimes Carnegie was lucky, and he found oil. Other times, he was not so lucky and didn't find any oil. He couldn't sell the plots where he didn't find oil, even though he owned a total of 20,000 hectares for 30 years. These plots were essentially worthless without oil. However, when he did find oil, it paid off big. One oil-bearing site he bought for $40,000 gave Carnegie an annual income of $1 million over 10 years. This site's value also increased to $5 million. This shows how his risk and calculation combined to bring huge rewards. Carnegie's approach to investing teaches an important lesson. It's good to combine careful planning with taking risks. By investing in bridge-building companies, he made safe, calculated investments. By buying land for oil, He took big risks that sometimes didn't pay off, but other times brought huge rewards. When you invest, look for new opportunities and be willing to take some risks. Use careful planning and calculation to guide your decisions, but also be open to new and risky ventures. This way, you can find the balance between safety and big potential rewards. Carnegie's success came from finding a balance between safe investments and risky opportunities. His story shows that with the right mix of calculation and risk, you can achieve great financial success. Look for new niches, plan carefully, and don't be afraid to take risks. Find motivation for $250. At the start of his career, Carnegie received a $2.50 bonus. He gave this money to his parents to support his family. He later said that no other achievement made him happier than this one. He felt like he was in heaven. From that moment on, Carnegie realized he wanted to become rich, but not for himself. He wanted to make money so his parents could live a good life. Once Carnegie found this motivation, his enthusiasm and performance improved a lot. He didn't have enough drive to help himself, but he was motivated to do everything for someone else. So, whether you're doing it for your parents, your children, or to help people you don't even know, there has to be a constant reason in your mind. This will help you handle the challenges on your path to success. Follow the rule of 9/10. This story changed Carnegie's life. It is about an old man whose life was full of tragic events. People in town felt sorry for him, but the old man replied, "Yes, my friends, everything you say is true. I have lived a long life full of misery, but there is one curious fact. 9/10 of my troubles were not really there." Carnegie understood from that story that most of the problems and doubts that worry us don't really exist. Our brain tends to imagine the worst outcomes and act accordingly. But most of the imagined negative scenarios never happen. And even when they do, things don't turn out as bad as they seemed. By reminding himself of the rule of 9/10, Carnegie freed himself from the fear of the unknown and was able to take the risks needed to achieve great success. Step out of the shadows. One afternoon, a young man walked into Carnegie's office to interview him about his success. Instead of talking about his journey from poverty to wealth and his business deals, Carnegie shared something more important. He said the key to his success was his ability to forget his problems and smile at life. He believed that looking at life with optimism was more valuable than millions of dollars. Carnegie explained that young people can develop this ability. Just like moving from shadow to light, you can train your mind to focus on positive things. This mindset helped him in business. By staying positive, he could recover quickly from failures and find opportunities where others saw only problems. This positive attitude also helped Carnegie build strong relationships. People are drawn to those who are hopeful and positive. His optimism made him a good leader and a trusted business partner. He inspired others to see potential in tough situations and work together to succeed. Experience is one of the most valuable resources in life. Carnegie's life shows that success comes from hard work, positive thinking, and the courage to take risks. To succeed, learn from your experiences, stay optimistic, and keep moving forward. Remember, this is your main channel for learning about finance. Subscribe to get more tips and stories to help you on your journey to wealth. With the right knowledge and attitude, you can become rich and successful. Believe in yourself, stay positive, and take action. I am sure you will succeed.